Whakalawhalahi atu and welcome to this special edition of Tangata Pasifika. Well, joining me today is a member of our social media team, Alice Lolo here. Pepe hake.
Saipe Malo Marama, thanks for having me.
And I've just got to mention those earrings. Let me see. Ooh, it's got a Tongan word on it. What is it?
Owa.
Owa.
Yeah, my Mr. Panikeke earrings.
Well, we hope you're all enjoying your summer holidays. Look, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be bringing you all our digital content you might have missed from our online platform, tpplus.co.nz.
2021 had its major highs and lows, so there's lots to delve into. But today it's all about our Pasifika arts and entertainment stories.
And last year, high schoolers across Tamaki Makaurau stepped back into the Polyfest stage for the first time in 2 years.
Talofa lava, my name is John Lafaele and I am the tutor of Manurewa High School Samoan Group. This is the third week of practice. We started after the level 3 lockdown that Auckland went through. This is probably one of the platforms that our kids get to share their culture, share their identity with people.
Let's go to give it a try, even though we don't know when COVID will hit again. The last few weeks has been challenging for myself and the team, especially with the kids being away due to volleyball and all their second curriculars, especially with kids dropping out as well. So it's been challenging trying to adapt with the changes around the group.
Talofa lava, my name is Becky Matufeo and I'm one of the Samoan group leaders of Manurewa High School. Right now we're currently working on one of our songs, which is the Pese Leaso.
Make sure you guys are not cutting it. And yeah. Try the first line, please, so I can hear it. Tas, tas, ta.
The most challenging thing of being a leader is trying to, get everyone's attention when we're trying to learn new things, especially when they're out playing and they're just mucking around. It's hard for everyone to just be quiet. My relationship with the other leaders and tutors it's great. We have we're really close from past groups, but there's also times where we're not on the same page with some things, and that there'd be moves where we disagree on because it wouldn't be suitable for the choreo and that.
Personally, I like coming up with unique and big actions, and then if sometimes we come up with for example, one of the leaders come up with simple actions, it kind of ticks me off, but then we always find ways to make that action a lot bigger and make it more unique, and that's how we find ways to get each other on the same page and we get through those trials and tribulations.
Some people still forget actions sometimes, even though we've been over again. I have faith in them, even though it was a struggle in the start of practices, but we've come a long way.
Talofa lava, my name is Imoni Fetea Imotunga and I am Manurewa High School Samoan Group's Taupo. This is my first time being a taupo, and it's my first time wearing this whole attire, and I guess it's very meaningful to me because I get to represent my family and just showcase my pride and joy for my culture. My friends inspired me to take on this role. They saw the passion in me, and I guess it just motivated me to just try it out.
Yeah, my name is Wilson Sleeper. I am the Whakaimi for Manirua High School, 2021. So my job overall is to conduct our team, conduct our choir and our awhai pese when we're in our pese ole aso formations. So basically I'm there, I guess, to do actions that tells a story that's related to the song that we sing. I just love the culture so much. I wanted to be one of the standouts in the group.
My role as a whanuma is to hype up the group or the team when they're feeling tired or exhausted. Just gotta bring that energy and that positive vibe, just to get everyone amped up and
So we're currently backstage getting ready for our performance. I think Carol has on right now and we're after them, but having a break first.
When you walk on that stage, be happy, be confident, be proud. When you perform on that stage, be happy, be confident, be proud.
I personally feel amazing. After 2 years of interruptions with the COVID, after it hits, we are gladly so happy to perform again and represent our culture and school and family. And of course, the glory goes back to the Lord. Amen.
We just want to say that
very proud of the group. Second place, I saw God. First in our hearts, but going back to God. I'm just proud of these bunches. But we sense it this year. We sense it. Gang, gang.
Welcome back as we continue to feature our digital highlights. Well, with many major events taking place last year, our Pacific culture and history took centre stage.
There's always new ways of sharing those stories with the world, from exhibitions, music performances, and dance. Check out these amazing kids bringing the heat with Sivafi.
Sivafi, that's a Samoan fire dance. It's an art that we like to pass on down to the younger generation.
If you go further, traditionally it'll be what you call the Ailau Siva'a, similar to what the Tongans call the Kailau. Yeah, it all originates from there. And then Chief Lituli. So he was a performer in California who added the flame to his ngaifi. And then from there, everyone else just kind of picked it up.
I was watching YouTube videos and I came across like Moana and Jerry Lee, and I felt inspired. I was like, I want to try that because, I'm not like the graceful kind. Like, I just want to try something different. And then my niece mentioned it to me. Her name's Emily, and she does it too. When I see Sivafi, I just want to learn it. I want to know how to like play with the fire, how to feel, how is it feel to get burned.
Sivafi is important to me because it teaches you how to act like a warrior, and it teaches you how to be brave, don't be afraid.
We spoke about the ocean, and it's always about the perspective and how you look at the ocean. Some would see the ocean as being a medium that separates our nations, separates our people, but we see it as a form of connecting us together in So that was, I guess, the start of Oceans Before Me.
I think the purpose is to elevate Indigenous narratives through music and education. I think it's about providing an opportunity. If we take the Dawn Raid project as an example, there's an opportunity to bring mentors together with artists and use that connection to educate the artists and use that relationship to educate those around us, and hopefully go into schools and that and just continue that process of education and the sharing of knowledge and past stories.
So the process was that if we listen to our elders, we listen to the Polynesian Panthers, we try to reflect those stories in different songs. So you've got jazz, soul, you've got hip hop, spoken word. And so all of the songs have been written from either their pain or their joy or their victories. But yeah, a lot of the songs are written from the experiences we had with them. So I think we've been working for 1.5 years on this project. I remember when Vox Dawn first talked about the kaupapa, and I'm already someone who's passionate about my people and our rights, and so it just kind of matched so well, and I'm really aligned to my purpose.
Yo, listen bro, you really want to know? I take you to John Miller's house, maybe down the road.
Being mentored by the Polynesian Panthers is like sitting at the feet of your elders, and just, yeah, it was just such an enriching experience. You know, you can read the books about them, you can watch the documentaries, but just sitting at their feet and listening to them is a whole different experience. And so for me, as a Samoan, as a second-generation born Samoan, it just meant the world to me to hear history from the mouths of first generation.
Lights against the brown skin, mixed with red hues. Dim like dawn, dawn like raid, raid like parade. Polynesian city revolutionary.
So I wrote the book first, and when it was almost ready to be released, because the book's for kids, I thought I'd really like something that appealed to adults as well, even though adults could read the book. And so I decided to curate the exhibition. So yeah, that's how they kind of came out at the same time, sort of sister projects, I guess. People do assume it was just Auckland, Wellington, and it mainly was, because that's where the bulk of the Pacific Island families had migrated to. But in Southland we had a lot of meatworks, and so a lot of Pacific people went to the meatworks and filled the factories. So it did happen as far down as Invercargill. We've got several events recorded from the research of people who were Dawn Raided. When I wrote the book, I didn't know that I'd had any experience with the Dawn Raid. It was all based on people willingly sharing their stories. And then when it was published, my mum said, oh, well, you know, that's good that you've written this story because this happened to us. And I was like, what? Like, oh, it didn't. When we were in Invercargill having dinner, the immigration people came, like my mum and dad must have answered the door, and we just kept eating. I didn't notice anything. And they must have handled it really smoothly, because Dad apparently went away and got his papers, and then they kind of left and we just carried on eating. So that's my only real experience that I don't even remember. I mean, you research people and you have this image of them, and so I think I had a real hero image of them, and I still do, because they are heroes. So it's been a real joy. So since the exhibition's been travelling around, we've been travelling around with it, the Panthers and I, in different locations, and doing an Educate to Liberate, or Panther Rap they call it. So it's good to hear firsthand the experiences. You know, they were very young people at the time, making a big difference. And so for young people that we go and talk to, I mean, it really lights something in them. So yeah, it's an absolute joy to be working so closely with the Polynesian Panthers. Talofa, welcome back to Tangata Pasifika as we share community highlights from our online platform. Up next, it's time to show the passion in Pasifika fashion.
Through vintage pieces, op-shop looks and freshly made creations, fashion aficionados use 2021 to put their best foot forward.
I'm Sean, and I'm one half of Hunting Ground.
I'm Tina, and I'm the other half. Hunting Ground is a vintage and streetwear store.
We sell mostly secondhand clothing that we source from overseas and locally, wherever we can find it. Basically just stuff that we find cool and that we would like to wear ourselves as well. Our dad is Samoan and our mum is half Samoan. I had quite young parents, so I feel like they were really on trend for their time in the 90s. Our aunties and uncles all dressed really cool. Like I think when we look back on photos of them at like the family barbecue, they got the one earring, you know, the mullets. Like basically, we didn't care. And I think being around that really influenced us in feeling free to dress how we want to dress. We just wanted to create a new space that represented us and a space where other people felt comfortable coming to shop, where they could find clothes that they liked. We had an auntie who worked in the secondhand clothes industry, and she got us a lot of our clothes when we were younger, and now we look back on photos and we're like, whoa, we're wearing like Converse and all this cool stuff. We didn't even know it was cool when we were little.
I've been running my own business for 9.5 years now, and I created Dress and Confidence as my give back to my community. We're raising funds for the Dress and Confidence Wellness Program, and we're really grateful to our partners and our sponsors to help us run the program in different areas throughout the community. But there are some spaces where funding doesn't reach to, so we're raising funds so we can go into those spaces and run our workshops. There are bespoke versions of Dress and Confidence, and Mama and Me is one of them. So we're now running our second program, and it's for mothers, so mamas and their children to strengthen their relationships and grow together at the same time.
I really love Nora's program, Dress and Confidence. It's important to her and it's important to me that our next generation of women and girls feel confident in who they are and are able to embody, you know, the confidence that we wish we had when we were younger. I love the idea of it being an eco-fashion show. So, you know, most of the other models are wearing clothes from their own wardrobes, which is cool. You didn't have to go out and buy something new. My outfit was designed by one of the students, a fashion student, and the challenge for Jasmine, was to use offcuts of fabric. So this is all stuff that would have ended up in the rubbish, and she was able to put it together and make me an amazing dress and a beautiful jacket.
In the Cook Islands Māori language, it is translated to the night. So there's 3 collections in our show tonight. Is based on how I see the night. This show is about being inclusive and including everybody, every human there is, whether what skin color they are, what gender they are, their identity. This show is about that. I love exploring, especially I love exploring my own art, and I'm really influenced by Indigenous art too, so not only our Pacific art, but Indigenous art around the world.
This was a fashion show that Vivian's been wanting to do for quite a while, and when he came to us, we were really delighted to include this as part of the festival lineup, because most of our shows are dance shows in a theatre or you know, heritage dance workshops. So to actually have a fashion show that's been built especially for this festival is a real honour for us. This event was cancelled last year in 2020 because of COVID, but we had prepared a lot of the lineup in 2019. So yeah, give or take, it's been about 1.5 years in the making.
It has been emotional past few months, creating the collection, creating the show. Yeah, and I feel like this is another step in my practice and in my career as an artist. I've always been interested in fashion, especially Cook Islands costume, Pacific costumes. Yeah, and then I took a big step in 2018 and I was like, nah, I'm gonna start my own label Awe line. So that's our label, and we create unique Pacific costuming with a twist of contemporary and modern elements. Before that, I was like a choreographer, performer. Then I was like, I really want to take my career up a level, explore another art form. Really important that we still stay true to our roots and we still stay true to our identity. But honestly, our Pacific culture is beautiful. Like, there's no one out there in the world who creates choreography like us, who creates costuming like us. The more we make noise as Pacific people, then the more we will be accepted, our art will be accepted. But I feel it is growing, it is developing over time as we go through generation and generation.
It's a real honour to be serving our community here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and in particular our emerging Pacific artists who don't get an opportunity sometimes to realise the full visions of their work. So for us, we see this as our service, not only to the arts here in New Zealand, but in particular to our Pacific community.
Are we going to see you on that runway next year?
Yes, I'm going to be on that runway next year. But that is our show for today. If you've missed any of our stories, don't forget tpplus.co.nz is where you can find them.
Next week, we'll bring you more community stories from our TP Plus online archive as our summer series continues. Until then, tō whāsoi fua.
Mi sa mole.
People of the sun, to our new homebound, Tangata Pacifica, born a people proud. People of the sun, our heritage goes on. Tangata Pacifica, keep our culture strong. People of the sun, our heritage.